What is going on, guys, and welcome back to the new revamped and reloaded Champs Table, the podcast where the champ brings on members of the people and to talk about all of our favorite games. Joining me today at the table is a person I met within the Cyberpunk TCG community and has made many of the assets you see on the channel now, and most importantly is a fantastic team of mine, Cesar. Thank you so much for joining me on the podcast.
It's fun to be here, man. I've been looking forward to this, and I'm just glad to get together and talk about this game that we both seem to be really excited about.
Absolutely, I am beyond stoked to be to get going with the Cyberpunk TCG, and of course, being a big part of the community, I just like being around it and talking with the Chooms more importantly, and of course talking with you. I am in your DMs all the time talking about designing stuff for just in general, and of course we have as the people could see in the title of this episode, we're going to be talking about going competitive within the Cyberpunk TCG. But before we really get into that, Cesar, go ahead and tell us all what your TCG lineage is, your history, like where is all your experience coming from?
So I'm primarily a casual player. I've only ever played casually. I started way back in high school playing Magic the Gathering at our tabletop club, but it was only ever casual. I never went and bought packs or anything. There was a lot of bulk that was donated to our program, which was super cool. So there, with a couple of friends who knew a lot more about the game than me, we'd sit there and build decks together. I played a lot of white and green, life gain, ramp deck, and after that, I kind of fell off a little bit. Got back into it a few years later when the new Kamigawa set dropped for Magic. Me and my fiance bought a couple of boosters from that, and we built some decks, and we played a little bit of Commander, but only ever casual. And then Lorcana came out. A friend got me into that, and I've only ever been to one pre-release for that, and I didn't even plan on competing that night. I just planned on going just for the cards. Mm-hmm. But I don't ever really go to tournaments. I don't go to weekly events. I don't go to pre-releases that much. I've only ever been a casual player. It's only been this year that I've actually started to play a lot more frequently. Mm-hmm. Last year, but continuing into this year. And part of that is because I've been wanting to play more card games in general because of Cyberpunk TCG. And specifically, we're going to talk about this a little bit later, but getting involved locally with events.
Mm-hmm. So what is it about the Cyberpunk TCG that's attracted it to you on a more elevated level to make you want to kind of go down this path?
Well, first of all, I love Cyberpunk. I got into Cyberpunk late last year through the TTRPG Cyberpunk Red, and then I discovered the Cyberpunk Edgerunners anime. Mm-hmm. Had a blast with that, and then I got into Cyberpunk 2077, and now I have over 90 hours on that game, and my fiance has 120 hours on that game now. He's already on his second playthrough. I just started mine. So it was really the fact that it was Cyberpunk that really got me into it. Mm-hmm. So I legitimately, my friend started a Cyberpunk Red game that we play over Discord. And a few weeks in, I see Cyberpunk TCG, the official TCG, coming out on Kickstarter. And I said, oh, okay, this is perfect. I just got into Cyberpunk. I'm going to check this out. This looks awesome. And
so
ever since then, I've been glued to the Kickstarter.
Oh, absolutely. So you started off with Cyberpunk Red. I actually love Cyberpunk Red a lot. I haven't. It's been a while since I've actually played it. I typically run it. I know that's something that you and I have actually talked about at one point. Maybe one day I do a live play of Cyberpunk Red, but that's probably going to be here in the future, maybe after I get moved into my new place and all that. It is something potentially I'd be interested in doing, but it just takes the right group of Chooms to do so. So you basically just kind of fell into the Cyberpunk IP just through the TTRPG, and then you fell into Edgerunners. Sometimes it kind of goes everybody's path into Cyberpunk is always so interesting to me because it's the same avenues, but it's in different orders. I think a lot of people ran into Cyberpunk through Edgerunners because it was on Netflix, and everybody has Netflix these days, and it's a top tier anime within my top 10, and it's not even that old of an anime. I'm usually kind of an old head when it comes to anime, but with Edgerunners, that's Edgerunners to me is such a so I don't know about you. but I prefer shorter anime than I do like longer anime. So like my favorites are like Cowboy Bebop when there's only like 20 episodes of that, but you know, and you get the full complete story. Edgerunners only has 10, so I enjoy that sort of like episodic feel to anime and just anything like in that kind of area, because I do get anime fatigue a lot. Like the ones with gigantic levels of seasons, I get, you know, within 3-4 seasons in, and suddenly I just can't stand watching it anymore. Not that I don't enjoy it, I'm just bored. And so a story that actually wraps up within a timely manner is really attractive to me.
Yeah, I agree. Like one of my favorite animes that my fiance introduced me to actually is Madoka Magica.
Mm-hmm.
That new one, like there's like 2 or 3 movies, all of which are just a summary of what happens in the anime. And the anime was pretty short-lived. Like it's only like maybe 15 episodes, maybe less. I might be hazy about that, but that and Death Note wrapped up in 2 seasons. A lot of episodes, but it wraps up nice and neatly. So yeah, I could definitely relate to that. I don't really get into the ones that have like 6+ seasons.
Looking at you, One Piece. I mean, technically that's 1 season, but that is 1 season with over 1,000 episodes, you know. But
yeah, that's one thing. Like I will probably not get into One Piece ever, unless I use One Pace. But that's one thing that's always kept me away from it. I'm like, it's too much of investment. I'd rather have a 1-season show like Edgerunners.
Yeah, I mean, I've genuinely tried to get into One Piece just from like the anime perspective, because, you know, everybody says it gets so much better at a certain arc or whatever, but like earlier on, it was just so difficult because, like, I mean, for a lack of better words, it's boring at the beginning, and it has that slower pace, and I just can't get past it. And when someone has to tell me, oh, well, it gets better in season, you know, in the 3rd arc or whatever, it's like, well, why can't it be good in the 1st arc?
Yeah, like that's why I think using something like One Piece would be so much better, because you're skipping all of the needless filler. But I know some people will probably be against that. They're like, no, you need the full One Piece experience. But no, I'd rather. Not that I'm like, an ADHD Gen Z baby who like needs all the action right then and there, but I'm like, I think it should be compelling from the get-go.
Absolutely. So when you said when you got back into Magic earlier on, it was when the Kamigawa set came out. What are you talking about? Neon Dynasty?
Yes.
So I almost got back into Magic the Gathering because of that set, because it has the cyberpunk feel to the max, and I think it's very obvious that, especially now that we're on this podcast, and obvious, like, just from my involvement with the Cyberpunk TCG community, like, I love the cyberpunk genre as a whole, and I think, like, I bought a commander deck that came out with the Neon Dynasty. I never played it because I don't think Magic the Gathering's bad. I just feel like it's lost its identity in a lot of ways, and it's just sort of, I mean, Fortnite the game is kind of what the meme is, and it's kind of accurate though, because, you know, Universes Beyond was something cool, but then they kind of got a little overwhelming with it, in my personal opinion. But I don't know, there's something about. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's a big topic of discussion. You're so right. Like, a lot of hardcore Magic the Gathering fans who grew up on Magic the Gathering see all these Ninja Turtles crossovers, Spider-Man crossovers, Transformers, and they're like, dude, what happened to my game? What happened to my boy? But like, someone who's a bit younger, like me, I think they're pretty cool, honestly. Like, I'm a big Marvel fan. Would I want a Marvel TCG? Kind of. Would it succeed? Probably not. So I'm like, oh, cool, maybe get some stuff from Magic the Gathering in the format that I already know. But that's yeah, you're so right that, like, so many crossovers come out, and then it starts to feel like you said, the everything game, and then when something's for everybody, then it's kind of for nobody. Sure.
And like, I don't say that to like belittle anybody who enjoys it. I mean, and I'm not even really that much of a boomer when it comes to Magic the Gathering anyway. Like, I started playing that when I was younger with my older brother. We didn't even play it correctly. It was about the definition of tabletop magic, or kitchen table magic, that I've ever heard of growing up. And then once I actually learned how to play the game properly, I was like, man, we've been doing this wrong for so long. But it's interesting how people's like TCG like stories kind of follow. I mean, because obviously we didn't this is going to be a lot of people's first TCG, I think, and especially like, but it also seemed from the same vein, like the same kind of path line, like One Piece and Gundam and Lorcana. These are going to be a lot of people's first TCG because it has an IP that they care about, and I think that's fantastic. And so you said that you got into Lorcana briefly before Cyberpunk TCG came out. What is it about Lorcana that you enjoy?
Well, primarily it was because a friend was introducing it to me.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, "Hey, it's Disney characters," and that had like a sense of familiarity to it. I was like, "Oh, I'm not like a Disney adult, I guess."
Mm-hmm.
But then they showed like, "Oh, they have characters like Dr. Facilier, which is like my favorite Disney villain," and I was like, "Okay, you know what? Let me give this a shot."
Mm-hmm.
Then the system was super simple. Very easy to get into, relatively affordable compared to Magic.
Mm-hmm.
A lot more affordable because it's like $40 for a freaking commander deck, and then it's like $17 for like a starter deck and a booster pack for Lorcana. So all of that was pretty attractive to me, and that's what probably kept me in with it. I bought a couple of precons, and I just played a lot at home with some friends. That's what really got me into Lorcana, and I think we'll talk about it some more. I think Lorcana and Cyberpunk do share some of those traits that I just mentioned, and I think that's probably going to be helping a lot of new people coming into Cyberpunk TCG and stick with the game.
Sure, and I was just gonna ask, like, what is it about Cyberpunk that's grasped you from a mechanical standpoint? Because it's obvious that the IP is fantastic, the genre is fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
I don't need to sell anybody on Cyberpunk from that aspect. But what about the game so far, that you've seen attracts you to it? Like, what is it making? What makes you want to play it more?
All right, big thing. First thing, dice. I love dice.
We all love dice.
I'm a dice goblin. I don't have a lot of dice, but I love dice. So hey there. I do have some dice. I love dice, and I think that introducing that as a mechanic into the game is already super fun. Back in the D&D expansion for Magic the Gathering, they did have some cards that were like, oh, roll a d20. If you roll above it's 10, you get this effect. If you roll below it's 10, you get this effect. And I was like, oh, that's super cool. I love that kind of gimmick. I love Dungeons and Dragons and tabletop games like Cyberpunk Red. And that's cool. So the fact that dice were a mechanic, I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's unique. That and the legend system. I think that the legend system is a perfect way to get that kind of commander type feel from Magic the Gathering, but like keeping the simplicity of like a format like Lorcana, where you can like sell a card in order to increase the amount of eddies you have to play different cards. It's like, oh, but there's an X factor. You got your three commanders or your three legends that can like influence how your deck actually plays. So that was already super cool because there's so many cool characters, not just from the main character V, not just from Johnny Silverhand, but like, hey, you got the fixers. We just saw that Wakako was revealed. We saw that El Capitan was revealed. But we also have like other ones like I was just looking at the card. Crap. We got River Ward. We got
River, yeah.
Yeah, we got River. We got a bunch of cool characters that are legends that'll be influencing decks. Oh, Adam Smasher, duh, he's gonna be a legend.
Well, of course, Adam Smasher's gotta be a legend. He is the boogeyman to the extreme. So when it comes to like the legends, what do you think is gonna be like? If we launched now with just like the legends that we do have, obviously they're going to be revealing more as time goes. What at least one legend do you think you're going to be absolutely playing in your first deck of a Cyberpunk TCG?
Okay, first deck that comes out, no matter what, I'm running Street Kid V. I know you said to pick my favorite card. We're probably going to be jumping the gun on that one right now. My favorite card right now is Street Kid V, specifically the male iconic art when he's jumping over the hood of the car. I just love the art on that card so much. And I think the play effects, or the defeat effect, is actually very fitting for Street Kid V. Live fast, die fast, in the pursuit of glory. So as soon as Street Kid V gets eliminated, you bring a brain dance back from your discard, and I think that's pretty cool narratively, and I just love the art. And Street Kid V was my first playthrough, so that's definitely going to be the one that I'm running for sure in my deck. Any other legends in particular? I think Panam's pretty cool. I think Panam's pretty sick, and of course the edge runners. If they're legends, I'm definitely going to be wanting to run an edge runner in my deck, whether it's David, Rebecca, or Lucy, just because I love those characters.
I do too, and I think they said, and I can't confirm this, so don't quote me on this. I think they said that they're gonna have effects. I'm not so sure about the Lucia. I don't remember them ever saying that they are vanilla legends, but I just feel like it would be a missed opportunity if they didn't give them effects just from out the gate. Because I know Lucy was just originally just a promo for people to kind of join early, and of course now they're giving it to all of us with the $15 million stretch goal and everything, which I think is great. I'm not mad about it. And so. But I think it would be cool to see these legends with the specifically the Edge Runner legends with effects. We got Sasha. I know Clark and Loqueta are just thrilled about that. All the Sasha fans got rewarded very well. So
can we talk about that for a second? Like, I was so shocked that they revealed Sasha this set. First of all, Misty was already being discussed, and Kawa put up the poll of like, oh hey, who do you think is gonna get revealed tomorrow? Is it gonna be Lucy or is it gonna be Misty? I'm like, oh, of course it's gonna be Misty. They promised set 2 is gonna be Edge Runner themed, and everybody voted for Misty, but then they yanked the rug underneath from everybody who voted Misty, and we're like, actually, here's Sasha. We have a full art and card for Sasha. And I was actually kind of blown away that they involved Sasha, who's not even in the Edge Runner show. I think bringing her set 1 and not waiting until set 2 is actually really cool. How much Weirdo listens to the community.
I almost wonder if that was something that developed because the people were talking about how bad they wanted Sasha. I mean, I feel like it's inevitable that we're going to get a Misty card regardless, but when Kawa did put up that poll, just from a business perspective, I was like, well, surely that Sasha's going to have to be set 2 because it's an Edge Runner set, because Sasha, like you said, is more of an Edge Runner's card than it is a 2077 card, and we know that set 1 is 2077 focused. And so my logic brain was just like you were saying, it has to be Misty, because I mean Misty was another card that's been begged for since day 1 of the Discord. So and I know Sasha herself is a very, very popular character. I love Sasha too. I mean, we've all seen Let You Down, the music video. I can shout out to CD Projekt Red for making you care about a character within just a time span of a 5-minute music video. And
yeah, that's
and so when they revealed that it was Sasha, my mind was pretty blown. I was hoping for that because I'm more of a Sasha fan than I am a Misty fan. No shots against Misty by any shape of the word, but just Sasha to me would have been the more exciting, which I'm glad they did it. But just logically speaking, it had to have been Misty. But glad to be wrong. One of the few times I'm glad to be wrong.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, like you said, I agree. I was blown away too. I was like, dude, there's no way they're revealing this. It's going to be a set 2 card. Why would they say that? That's high in the sky. But no, they. And I think that your idea has some merit. That was like, oh, maybe they kind of listened to the community, around that, where they were like, hey, you know what? They'll love if we reveal our Sasha art. So I think you might have some merit to that idea.
I mean, and Weirdco has been so good about listening to all this. I mean, shoot, I'm pretty sure the $15 million stretch goal for giving everybody Lucy was just a response of people being, bummed out that they missed out on the early adopter, email program or whatever. And that was bound to happen regardless. I understand both sides of the coin there. I mean, I'm glad that they went the route they did. It's if you backed it, you're still an early adopter, we're going to get you your Lucy cards. I'm glad they did that personally. That's just me, because I love the people and I want the people to get all the cool shiny cards they can get. But I would have also understood if they didn't do that because, for a lack of better words, exclusivity and I think a lot of people who are barking that are the same type of people who wanted the value of the card. And we can get into the weeds of that, but I think it's exactly true. My opinion is a lot of the decisions they have made as far as like the card reveals or even like the card add-ons is purely, because of the voice of the people. They added all the legends into the legend pack to the beta box instead of like it being a random poll. Everybody wanted it to be all of them, and Weirdco listened. How could we possibly hate them for that? And I don't see any particular reason why they wouldn't have done something similar with the Sasha card. It could have been around in the chamber. They were ready to fire a long time ago, but I wouldn't have been surprised if they had Sasha like drawn up and created just for a card reveal that they're going to put in set 1 because she was so demanded.
Yeah, totally. Like that's another thing that really drove me to sticking with Cyberpunk TCG is the amount of interaction and the amount of listening that Weirdco does for the community. Like Weirdco Nick is in there and Donnie's in there in the Discord, and these guys are always responding to questions like whenever they have their little mini Q&A sessions, and they're always receptive to feedback. Like you said with the stretch goal for the Legends pack, and for the people who missed out on the original promo Lucy, who are not going to be getting it with any pledge. Like that's another thing that's making me want to stick with this game and like really get involved like in any capacity, honestly, because not only does this game play fun, it looks good, but like the people making it are really down to earth and are really in touch with the community.
The fact that they interact as much as they do within the Discord as much as they can, I'm surprised they're able to at all with how small their crew is and how busy they are. It's insanity. I'm pretty sure Donnie is living underneath a printer right now, and he means that literally. But
yeah, he's got a pillow and a sleeping bag underneath a giant printer right now.
I mean, or the theory goes, I'm actually Donnie, and I'm actually taking a break from the printers, and we're doing this podcast.
That would be a twist. That would, like what's like M. Night Shyamalan's writing the script or something?
Maybe that would be a twist. Crazy. I mean,
I'd be able to say that I got to meet Donnie to an extent. I'd be able to say that. That'd be awesome.
Well,
I don't think it's true.
Well, I will be able to tell you. Eventually, you'll be able to meet Donnie because I'm sure at an event of some kind, Donnie has to be there. So whether you're meeting him right now in the flesh of the champ or you're going to meet him at a organized play event, which brings me to, I guess the main topic of this conversation. So you have told me that because of the Cyberpunk TCG, you are finally going to get yourself involved in organized play. So I guess the big question I have for you just right out the gate is, what is it about the Cyberpunk TCG that makes you even want to become part of the competitive scene, coming from the levels of being a casual player?
So the part that's the most attractive to me to actually get involved in a local scene is it's mostly the gameplay. I think the gameplay, I love the gameplay loop so much, and I love the fact that it's formatted in a very accessible way for people who are new to the game, and that's what really makes me want to get involved. And I'm not entirely foreign to organized play or competitive play. I used to host fighting game tournaments back in my hometown. I used to run even online tournaments for fighting games, and I used to play in them and not just run them, but actually advertise them and put up flyers in places and seed brackets and everything like that, and stream them online. So I love community, and I want more people to get into this game because it's not just a fun game, it's a very accessible game with really good art and a really good company behind it. So I want to be involved so that way I can be a cool guy there in the community to help bring more people in, so that way they're more encouraged to come back and play. That way they have a cool judge, or they have a cool person they played against who they have fun with. So that's really what motivates me to get involved in organized play. Is I wanna be what the other people in the fighting game community were for me whenever I was first joining, by being super enthusiastic, nice, and just encouraging about coming in and joining the community.
And I think, like, from the perspective of where you're coming from, being like a casual to a more competitive aspect, kind of shows like the path to becoming, a part of organized play. Because a lot of casual players, in my experience from card games, because my main experience is within the Dragon Ball Super card game Masters. I know that's a mouthful, but they had to make Fusion World and call it the same thing, except Fusion World. So. But that game is so impossibly hard to sell to people because it is such a complex game. It is a fun game. It is, in my opinion, the best Bandai game out because of its level of interaction, its complexity, and of course the card art is gorgeous. But it is a very, very hard game to sell to someone who's brand new to TCGs, and from a casual perspective, because it's just so much going on. And I think Cyberpunk TCG, especially with the way they design the alpha kits, and of course the way that we're starting from the ground up from like set 1, it is a great opportunity for people who are casually into card games can get into organized play, because it's starting from the beginning. And I think they have, if later on down the line, I'm sure Weirdco's gonna probably implement maybe some different kinds of starter decks, or like free to play decks, kind of like what Magic did with the sample decks. That would be kind of cool if they changed those that are more inclined with the rule set, or if they just continue with the alpha decks. Those explain the gameplay loop a lot, and I feel like it's very easy to understand from a brand new to the TCG scene.
I agree. Like, in order to get people in, like, you gotta be accessible, and Weirdco really understands that. Is that your second energy drink, by the way? Finish your first one?
That is my second one. Listen, okay.
No.
This is Red Bull number 2, the watermelon flavor. I was wondering if you were going to say something about that. I know the comments are going to say something about it, because it's so obviously from white to red, and I know someone in particular, his name is Ags. You've probably seen him in the Champ stable or Champ Games Discord. He's gonna yell at me when he sees that, because I'm already going through. I think that was a 12-ounce Red Bull, and I'm on my number 2. So I just kind of live off of energy drinks. It's not good for you. Don't do it at home, kids. But when you're the champ, you gotta live on the edge.
Oh yeah, no, I love energy drinks too. Back to talking. So I think accessibility for getting new people in is something Weirdco is definitely focused on, and that comes in the buy and play sets, where it comes with 2 decks that Magic the Gathering had for their Final Fantasy set that came out. Mm-hmm. Something along those lines, or just like you said, the alpha kits. So I could totally see Weirdco coming out and being like, hey, here's a year from now, hey, here's a starter set. A pick up and play for you and a friend. Here comes with 2 precons and all the rules and everything that you need, and 2 sets of dice and everything. So I could totally see that just being another way for people to get in to the game. Mm-hmm. So it's oh hey, my friend Champ really likes this game. You know what? Let me buy this starter thing, and I'll ask him to come over, and we could try to play with just these, so that way I can learn the game. And so I think Weirdco knows exactly what they're doing by sending out those alpha kits and those demo decks out to these local game stores, until the influencers. I know you got one. I really wish I could get one. Oh, he's reaching for it. There it is.
It is my precious.
Oh, that's so cool. How heavy is the box? Is the box is it a cardboard, or?
It is cardboard. It is a pretty solid box. It is a really solid box. I mean, the coolest thing is they put a magnetic clasp. So
that's so cool.
So it's actually for an alpha product, just to hand out to influencers to show it off. They could have just made a fancy looking box, but the fact that they went through the effort of making a magnetic clasp and a real solid box and a nice presentation, that says a lot. And of course, getting the foil Nova Rare Saboro. Everybody has seen me lick 1,000 times over with the GIF, but
oh yeah, we got a GIF for that. We got a vault. We got a vault of all the GIFs of you.
I'm pretty sure there's at least one person in the Discord community, in the people that has just a vault of Champ gifts to throw at any point in time. I design my personality and my antics to be as gifable as possible.
Well, it's always fun. But yeah, so yeah, we were talking about the not just the alpha kit, but the getting people in with new set with the new dual deck kind of things that I was mentioning. But yeah, so getting new people in is like a thing that I loved for fighting games. I played a lot of Smash Bros. Ultimate, and I played a lot of Mortal Kombat in tournaments. So whenever there'd be somebody new, I'd be like, oh yeah, come again next week, come again next week, let's do that. So that's kind of what I want to do for like Cyberpunk. I already reached out to like 3 friends. I got two of them promising to come and try out the game when I get my cards.
Yeah.
And I got one who's actually going to be contributing, and he's going to be paying me to put some add-ons on for him, so that way he could have some accessories. So that's the plan. And yeah, that's really what I like to do. I just love community. I love building a community.
And I can't agree with you more. I mean, I think the thing that makes a community, or just like a TCG, like organized play, successful is just having a very good community. And I know some people probably think I'm being hyperbolic when in the chat when I say this, but I genuinely think that Cyberpunk TCG is the best TCG community that I've ever been a part of, and that I've ever witnessed, to be honest. Because I've been a part of the Dragon Ball community for a while, and that's a great community. But I've witnessed comments from the Lorcana community, the Yu-Gi-Oh community, the Magic community, and it just seems like the level of toxicity across those is like miles ahead of the Cyberpunk TCG community. And I know that we're in the future, as the game gets more popular, we're probably still going to run into those negative, like, bad actors, and we get rid of those pretty quickly, especially the mod team. So shouts out to Looketta, Hard Rockin' Guy, Clark, all the people who actually do mod work except for me. I'm about as cosmetic as it gets.
You're there for vibes, man. Hey, don't sell yourself short.
I'm the vibes mod, you got to keep the hype up. And so one thing I also wanted to ask you in tandem with, becoming more involved with organized play is you told me you have a YouTube channel. Are you going to start making videos for the Cyberpunk TCG like me, or are you going to make some, or are you just going to kind of have it passively?
So I would like to. I would like to maybe make like a gameplay video at one point. But as far as it comes to like discussion, I'm not too sure if I'm really the guy to go for that. I love like I watch your videos. I watch the Cyber Deck podcast that they have. I watch the new podcast that was just up with those 2 other YouTubers who I forget their name. The Main Deck channel.
Oh,
I think
Card Runners. It's Main Deck Dan and Red Zone Rogue.
Runners. Yeah, there you go. I've been watching them, and I really like what they have to say about these things. So I'm not too sure if I'm going to be making videos per se. I'll be making an unboxing video probably. But like I did reach out a long time ago last year to be a part of the creator program, and I got an email back saying, oh hey, like when you start making content about the game, we could get you involved. And I just haven't been gotten around to it. My last upload was like over 6 months ago. Because I covered TTRPGs mostly. My only video right now is about the Marvel TTRPG, which I'm a really big fan for. So like I would like to be involved in the creator space, but I just really haven't found something that I want to like say about the game that like other people don't already know, or something that I just won't. I haven't found something that like I can have the energy for
sure.
Making a video. I don't want to ham-fist a video that's just like, oh hey, check this out. By the way, I think I'd rather wait until maybe we get some more cards revealed. And they did mention that they were going to spoil the pre-con decks on the print and play. They did mention that the Discord server, they were going to spoil that prior to fulfillment. So when those come out, I'll probably want to print those out and try that out, and
sure.
who knows, I might be able to make a video for that.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly, and that's part of the reason why like I don't post as much as I should, and that's because I have the same like opinion you do. Like I have to be able to put my heart into a video, and that's why like sometimes like some of the videos I put out, you could tell like the quality isn't as well done because I just threw on my webcam real quick because I had something I need to get off my chest. I had to get something I want to put out there. Like my Kickstarter video is a prime example of that. Everybody was doing Kickstarter videos, kind of going over the value proposition of the Kickstarter, and that's great. People need to know that, but it's just not my style of content. But I still wanted to be able to put out like a video to like explain to people why they should back the Kickstarter from a different perspective. And that's why, like, if you watched it, I'm sure you did, I was singing the praises of the community and singing the praises of Weirdco as a reason to join the Cyberpunk TCG, because that matters a lot. A Kickstarter could have the best value in the world, but if the community sucks, if the company that runs it sucks, then what's the point? You're just gonna have shiny cardboard and everybody likes that, but you're not gonna do anything with it because you don't want to support a toxic community or a bad company.
Yeah, for sure. The same goes for like any kind of scene, right? Like back to fighting games when I was a big part of it. Like when you have a couple of people who make it a miserable time to be there at the event, you don't want to go. We've had people who come and then because of one person, but they don't come again. So like they won't come to tournaments again. So that's really a huge concern that like I've had like as a tournament organizer is people's behavior when it comes to like toxicity and just being just unkind. So like that's one thing that like you said, the mod team, Clark and Hard Rockin' Guy, Laqueta, that's one thing that they're very diligent about. So that way, like we don't have anybody come in and see somebody talking a bunch of smack needlessly and is like, oh, I don't want to get into this environment. So yeah, that's a really important thing. Yeah.
So I think we went into this a little bit beforehand, but I guess the next question, like in regards to the subject here, is what exactly are you going to be doing to like prepare yourself to get into the competitive scene, get into the organized play? Like it sounds like you want to be more in the tournament organization more so than a player, or am I wrong in that assumption? Because that's what I picked up from, like, or are you going to be like an actual tournament player, trying to get those prizing cards?
I really want to have my cake and eat it too. I would love to be a player and to be the runner and to be a judge. I know it's hard. I've experienced that to be difficult when you're a tournament organizer for fighting games. Unless you have a really small community, then it's pretty easy, as it was for us back in the shout out to the Last Cruise of Smash scene if they're watching this. So that's something like I really would love to be a player. I love prizes. I love winning. Shiny cardboard is always fun. I would love to win cards, but at the same time, I'm thinking that I would love to be just involved, like not just as a player. So if I could find a way to juggle those things where I could be like, oh hey, I could be like, maybe I'll qualify for the judge program that they announced. Maybe I'll try to get into that and still maybe play at my locals, and maybe at bigger events if I have the time or budget to do it, I can go and be a judge maybe at bigger events. So that's my thought process. I would love to play as much as I can, but I also do want to help the game grow at the same time by like being a judge or like running a tournament. I think that would be really fun.
And I think that's what genuinely the game needs to thrive, because at a local level it is a lot easier to do both, because I agree with you. I want to have my cake and eat it too, because what's the point of cake if you can't eat it? But because like I've been juggling this thought on how I'm going to be involved with the community more than I already am, whether I'm going to be a player, whether I'm going to be a judge, because I like the idea of being a judge. I mean, I have this funny aspiration of becoming a head judge, because it'd be kind of funny to walk around at tables and everybody gets to meet the champ telling them to stop sucking at Cyberpunk TCG. but I could be a player. I've been a player for different card games my entire life. I've never been a judge before. I would love to be able to get in the judge program. But really, what it breaks down to is what Weirdco needs, what the community needs, what the people need are just ambassadors for the game. And so for those listening who haven't been able to find like a locals or find like a store to buy into Cyberpunk TCG, it's really up to you. And I keep preaching this to like the chat all the time. People will come in and say, I don't have a community. It's like, well, you have to be the start of that community if you don't have one. You got to be the beacon, and it always starts with one person. You talk to your friends about it, and then of course you get your friends interested. You print off those alpha kit decks that you can get off for free and start testing the game out. Yeah, it sucks that they're proxies because everybody wants to have real cards in hand, but there's only so many alpha kits to go around. Let's put it bluntly like that. But you still can get the experience of playing the game, and of course, if you're playing it at your local game store, people are going to ask about what you're playing, and then of course, once your local game store sees the interest, that's when they're going to be willing to pick it up. Because as a former LGS owner, I would get told all the time, hey, you should carry this game that I like. Okay, I would love to because I want to support my community, but I need to see you in here playing the game before I could really justify putting in a bunch of money into a game that, doesn't have a community yet. And of course, there's that back and forth because I would come here if you carried it. Well, I would carry it if you come here, And so and it all starts with the people.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I did over in my scene. There's a couple of game stores I called 2 different ones, and I was like, hey, Cyberpunk coming out, are you going to be carrying it? And they were like, well, if a few more people called, then maybe. And then I called one. They actually had a text line because that one's more than just a card game store. They also do tabletop stuff like for D&D books and other board games and things like that. So they have a text line where you can request a certain game to be brought in, and they'll hook you up. And I texted them and I was like, hey, I'm really into this. It'd be really cool if you could carry it. I would be a frequent customer if you did. And they were like, okay, you know what products do you want set aside? And then I was like, oh, I want a booster box. I want precons. And they're like, okay, we'll do it. We're just gonna order some product. We'll set those aside and come by for our pre-releases. And I was like, okay, great, awesome. And it was kind of the last place I thought that would carry it out of all the stores specifically, because the other ones are just card game stores. There's 2 card game stores that I went to, and they Magic, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and this other one is a combination store. It is not only it's like a place where you go for food. They have good pizza and they have subs and stuff, but they also have card game events, and they also have big tables that you can sit at to play board games or to play D&D at. So I was like, oh, that place has too much going on. I'm not sure if they'll carry it, but I'll call just to ask. And they were like, okay, yeah, we're gonna stock it and come by to our pre-release event. That way we have people in here in the store playing it. So to anybody watching, if you're feeling like, hey, I don't know if this place will really have it, you'll never know until you call. And don't call them every day. Don't harass them. Just call in maybe every other week or something, and be like, hey, or once a month and be like, hey, I really like Cyberpunk. I think you should carry the game. Because it's that, like you said, it takes one person to start a community, and you can be that needle that moves it and gets the track going.
And I'll also add to that, another attractive thing to LGS owners is tell them that you'll help them run the events. So LGS owners have a bunch of events they're already running as is, and there's always that one guy in every community that's sort of running the event for the store, whether it's an actual employee who's an expert in it, or just a community member who's a judge who's also running the event. So if you also want to be able to get more involved with the organized play aspect, just tell them that you'll run the event. Just as long as you give us a place to play, you kind of give me a setup to do a bracket or whatever because I know Weirdco's eventually going to do some sort of app that lets you run organized play through an app or something like that, so people can get their pairings and all that. This is all speculation. Nothing's been announced. People watching, don't freak out. They haven't announced anything yet. That you didn't miss anything yet. This is the champ making assumptions.
No leaks.
But
no true leaks yet.
Just volunteer your time. You're already there. You're already wanting to be there multiple hours, at least once a week for this game. You might as well volunteer your time, and eventually, you may find out that you're not cut out to be an organized player, tournament runner, but at that point, you may have enough people in your scene that someone else could take over, or you may fall in love with the fact that you love being a judge, you love being, running the community, and then people will come to see you as the beacon for your Cyberpunk TCG locals. And that's sort of what my goal is to be, because finally my locals decided to pick it up after a couple more people besides me, bothered them about it. And I'm sure Cesar here is going to become, his beacon. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that name. I always pronounce it 2 different ways, Cesar and Cesar.
No, that's all right. I usually tell people to say Caesar because a lot of people can't really pronounce it right.
Mm-hmm.
Cesar or Cesar is
Mm-hmm.
usually how it's pronounced, or just Ces for short.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've been starting to go by with friends recently.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so yeah, that's definitely my plan. I plan to be at locals. I plan to be playing. I plan to be dragging my friends to locals
Mm-hmm.
so that way we could play together. So I definitely prepared my friends. I'm like, when this game comes out, I'm going to be so annoying. You better prepare. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to ask you to play this every weekend. So yeah, that's definitely my plan. I'm definitely going to be at stores, even if we can't get like weekly events, even if we
Mm-hmm.
only have pre-releases. I'm gonna be there with some friends, chomping on some snacks and
Mm-hmm.
cleaning them before I touch my cards, and just playing some games. So
Mm-hmm.
that's definitely my plan. Just being at those stores playing. You don't have to go to buy anything. You don't
Mm-hmm.
have to go to like be at a tournament. You just have
Mm-hmm.
to go get a friend and be like, hey, let's play at the store, and that's how you're getting your community started.
Because someone's always going to ask. They're going to ask what you're doing. You know, this is a card game
Oh
I've
yeah.
never seen before. What are you playing? Well, Cyberpunk
Oh yeah.
TCG. So with that being said, we're gonna go into like taper off into the ending of the subjects here. But we got into this a little bit before, um, and I wanted you to think about this before we got started. But the question is like, what is your favorite Cyberpunk TCG card? And if it's not just one, what is like your top 3 or top 5, and like why?
Okay. So I mentioned it earlier. Street Kid V, the iconic art specifically because of the art.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very narratively fitting. Like I said earlier, live fast, die fast. In the pursuit of becoming a legend, I think that's super awesome. I think the other art, Rita Wheeler. I think that art that got revealed, she looks super badass. I love her. She just looks so cool.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of mechanics, I think Alt Cunningham,
Mm-hmm.
the yeah, the fact that you get to play a breakdance for free or a program for free after she's eliminated through Go Solo, I
Mm-hmm.
think is very, very cool and very fitting.
Mm-hmm.
For her, Alt is super, at least in 2077, super kind of like,
Mm-hmm.
I want to say she's like kind of like an eldritch being because she's like this AI like beyond like understanding basically.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's not human anymore, but she's like alive somehow, like in
Mm-hmm.
this space that cannot be physically perceived. I think she's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for a third one,
She kind of comes off like a Blackwall deity, like someone who's like a
yeah,
god of the Blackwall, but like, yeah, or goddess, I should say. But because it's an AI that's absorbed the consciousness of Alt, but so it's Alt technically, but it's not really Alt, but it's like this all-powerful like AI that would probably ruin your day 10 times over if you got on her bad side. She took out Mikoshi by herself, so that says a lot itself.
for sure. Oh my god, yeah, she's so cool. And I think for another character that I would want to say is my favorite. We don't have any text revealed for these cards, but it's a three-way tie, a two-way tie between Rebecca and David. We don't have text revealed for them. I theorize that they are going to reveal text for them eventually, because they are promos. But I'm like, no, they gotta have real cards in there too. They gotta have real cards in the set, and they gotta do something. So it's gotta be a two-way tie between David and Rebecca. I like Lucy a lot, but Rebecca's my favorite character in all of Edge Runners. I love her attitude. I think she's super funny. And David, super badass character. I love him too.
Yeah, it's kind of always been hard for me to pick my true favorite of the Edge Runners crew. I mean, David is like so relatable because I think the majority of the people who play Cyberpunk TCG they would probably classify as a street kid and aspiring to be great glory and greatness. And of course Lucy's the mysterious hot girl, and then Rebecca's the short little spitfire that everybody loves who has the comic attitude. Main is like that leader aspect, like all of them you can love for different reasons. But so I agree, it's very difficult to select. Everybody knows I'm a little bit of a Lucy simp, but I don't know if she would classify as like my favorite Edge Runner. It's definitely tough for me to pick as well. So last question before we wrap up here: what is one thing you wish the people would understand better? And that could be anything about the Cyberpunk TCG. It could be about life. It could be about gaming. It could be about anything. Like, what is one thing you wish the people just in general would understand better?
I can get really philosophical about this.
Get as deep as you want.
It's been on my mind. Just like, don't feed into negativity when it comes to anything that like you're coming across. There's so much rage bait nowadays online. There's so much people who are demanding your energy and demanding you to be upset about something. Where like, if you are not just ignoring, you could acknowledge these kinds of things, but just choosing to pick a high road kind of, to just be a more positive person and say, no, I'm not going to feed into that kind of stuff. Kind of like here, like in the TCG community, we've had people come in and complain about some decisions that Weirdco have made, and we acknowledge them and we're respectful, but we don't let that dampen our experience of like, enjoying our game. And that goes not just for little card games, that goes for life, I think. So when you have just blatant negativity coming your way, like, don't let that bring you down. Like, there's like, you get what you put into this world, and I think if you're just continue to be nice and continue to be positive, you will receive that in return. I certainly have received that through this community in Cyberpunk. I've shared my enthusiasm. I've shared like little fan art and photo modes that I've done, and I get back in return. I've met Champ. I've met other people in this community just from being positive and from being involved. So if you get involved, other people will get involved with you. If you are nice, people will be nice to you. So that's one thing that I think everybody should really take to heart and really understand,
I couldn't agree more. And I think another thing to add to that is, it is okay to disagree with people. Just because you disagree with somebody on their opinion of, like, whether it be a card mechanic, whether it be a decision Weirdco made, doesn't mean we have to hate each other for that. It's okay to disagree on things. It doesn't have to turn into like a fight. We are all entitled to our opinions, and and the biggest thing is we got to respect those opinions, have a discussion, and if you don't agree, or you do agree and your opinions change, great, but it doesn't need to be a fight.
No, absolutely, I agree. Like, I think like discussions always should be open. And
oh no, you froze.
Am I okay now?
There you go.
All right, we're good. Okay. Right. The Weirdco ninjas are about to take me out for spilling too much about the game. No, it's okay. Yeah, like you said, you can disagree about things like the Lucy card promo situation that we had. There were a lot of people that were very passionate about that. And like, there were some people who weren't respectful, but there absolutely were some people who were there like, hey, like, this feels a little bit of like, a cut to people who were like on since day one. And and they respectfully communicated that, and like, Weirdco like, acknowledged their feedback, and me and other people in communities were like, okay, like, we see you, we understand how you're feeling, but like, I respectfully disagree, but like, you know what, you're valid for the way that you feel, and like, your opinion is valid. So like, always having that kind of attitude when it comes to discussion, even when someone disagrees with you, I think is just better for the world overall.
Absolutely, and I can't agree more. And I just think, like, for the most part, we do a great job as a community, kind of communicating our feelings and our opinions. And obviously, there's always going to be the vocal minority that's people are going to see more of, especially if you go to Reddit. Avoid Reddit at all costs.
Oh yeah.
That is a cesspool of negativity, and I applaud Hard Rockin' Guy for moderating that. He's seen the fires of hell with that, And I'm a Reddit user, but I don't go on Reddit for specific reasons.
This year I've been using Reddit more frequently. I'll post when I have like a question, but as far as like discussions, I maybe have like 2 posts like of all time, and that was like 2 weeks ago. But I browse occasionally, and some stuff going on there is pretty unproductive, is what I'll say. So yeah, like you said, Hard Rocking Guy, thank you for keeping your eyes peeled on the Cyberpunk TCG subreddit. I know some people come in acting a little crazy, but like, you know, your work is valued.
Absolutely. Well, with that being said, Cesar, I appreciate you coming on so much, you know, to the new and improved Champs Table podcast. It has been a pleasure talking with you. You know, I can't be more excited enough to have you on here, and of course, you know, keep this going. So if those watching, if you want to end up on an episode of the Champs Table, feel free to reach out to me on the Cyberpunk TCG Discord, link in the description below. And if you have something you want to get off your chest and we could talk about here on the podcast, let me know. I'd love to have you on. And of course, with that being said, everybody, we will catch you in Night City. Peace.